Hello and welcome back to another UK survival video. So today is the second out of the 4 giveaways, and today we're looking at giving away a little set of potassium permanganate and some glycerol, so special glycerol. So together you've actually got quite a lot here. There's 3 5mm tubes of potassium and 3 5mm tubes of glycerol. Just one of these tubes is enough for a lifetime for disinfectant and first aid capabilities. So we're going to look today a little bit into these things and how you could actually win this. Roll the credits, and then straight off the credits we're going to go straight into the actual last week's winner, and then we'll see who it is. So let's roll those credits. Hello, so it's competition time. So let's see who's at the winner. So from last week we've had 42 views, 5 likes at the channel, 7 of you who viewed the video have actually commented on the video to enter the chance. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy the URL, and I've just loaded up a YouTube random picker, which is called Sandra Cries, but it does a random. I just done a quick test, it does work. So I'm going to paste the link in here. I'm going to load up the comments. So we've got 7 unique commenters on here, so let's have a quick look and see who won. You ready? 3, 2, 1. The winner is... How can I win? it's picked up a reply comment from me. Alright then, so let's not send it out to me, so let's try this again. Right, 3, 2, 1. And the winner is JCM Outdoors. So well done. Yeah, and as I see there, you were the first one in, and actually you are the person to win this week's competition. So let's go outside and let's check out what's up next. Okay, it's a good big well done to JCM Outdoors. You are the lucky winner of last week's fire tinder box. So this is a new one which I've now made up. So this is going to be your sent out, mate. All you're going to do, I'm going to send you a PM. And just get back to me some contact details and I'll get this sent over to you. But that's it, that's that one. Now we're going to be looking at potassium permanganate and some glycerol. So I've got my little bush box out with me again. I'm going to cook up. I'm going to get this thing fired up using the potassium and the glycerol, and get a nice bit of water on the go. I've also got some other little techniques and tips with this stuff as well as we go through. So let's get this broken up and get this thing stoked up and ready to go. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to get a little bit of birch bark. I'm going to place that at the bottom of the box. Just open it out a little bit, just try to stop it from bending. And what we're going to do with the rest of this birch, I'm just crush it up a little bit, just to try to get a little bit of texture on it, because I'm going to use all this to keep it actually going. Okay, it's very important when you're actually carrying this stuff, try not to store it together, because if this leaks and falls into this, you're going to have a nasty explosion or fire inside your kit. So I always keep them in 2 separate bags. I put them in 2 separate compartments in my kit, or I put them inside little tins sort of on there, because I do not want this sort of thing. Likewise, when I send it out in the post, it always goes in 2 separate packages and double wrapped as well, just so they can't actually accidentally get it in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm now going to get some crystals. As you can see there, it's just loads of little fine crystals. What I'm going to do is pour some of these crystals. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pour the crystals onto the birch bark first, because it is a slow reaction, it's not an instant reaction. Pour some crystals on there. I'm going to get glycerol. All this is vegetable grade glycerol. There's nothing wrong with this, it's completely food grade. And now all I'm going to do now is just pour some of this on top of, there we go, so that's on top of there. Put the lid back on, leave that to settle, that'll soon start going in there. I'm going to put a little bit of sort of tinder on top of that, so when it goes quite well. I'm going to pack some more sort of stuff in there, so ready to go. And then all we're going to do now is just sit and wait and let the magic start. There it goes, there it goes. So I had to put a little bit more stuff in it. I just took it out and I forgot to put the camera on. But I hope the other camera was rolling when it went over. But you can see there, it does take a while to get it on the go. But once you actually get that potassium going, it's such a violent, quick reaction. I had no time at all to get the camera set up. It was just crazy, crazy. Okay, so what we're going to do now, as this is burning away and getting light on the go, I'm going to be getting myself covered in smoke. It's probably the worst place to sit, really. But hey, never mind. I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the uses of potassium. So the first thing is, as you just saw then, we can use it as a fire starter. But having this inside your kit, yeah, it uses a lot of potassium to actually make the fire. So that's like the last resort I'm sort of on there. I use it for other things, mainly medical sort of things. When I was in the army, especially the jungles, we used to carry potassium permanganate in the jungles all the time. It gave us 4 things of medical sort of thing, and also an ability, if we ran out of chlorine tablets to clean our water, it has an ability to purify water at the same time as well. So basically, what it is made up of lots and lots of fine particle little crystals, the potassium, and it's an oxidized, so it basically oxidizes things and helps purify and sort of over there on the system itself. I'm not going to go into too much chemistry properties sort of from there, but different types of saturation inside water means you can do different things with it. So, but again, it's very, very potent. It's irritant, and so when you're using this, just bear it in your hands, and it's also can be quite dangerous if ingested too much. So that's why I say as a last resort, use the water purifier. But if you, try to use chlorine tablets or other means of purifying water first. So what I've got with me, I've got some water, and I've also got a glass just to show you how it's going to work. So the first thing is, I'm going to fill my glass up with water. This is normal tap water. I got out of my tap before I left the house. And all we have to do, is using a very, very small piece of, let's put some more wood in here. So, I don't think you'll be able to see this. Yeah, see the very, very tip of that? That's probably a bit too big. You probably only want a half of that. Yeah, so that's probably too big. You only want really half of that. And all you're going to do, you're going to drop that into my water. And as we sit, oh, my fire's going out. Let's put some more wood in. So all we're going to do now is just stir that up. So you can see there, I've got my water. And it wants to come a very, very light pink. There we go. Yeah, it's probably just right actually. Yeah, very, very light pink. It needs to be fully dissolved. It's going to be a bit too much now because the cube's a little bit too big. Yeah, so it's a bit too pink. So what I'd have to do here is add more water. Yeah, tip some out and dilute it with more water. So once I've So once that's all fully dissolved, once that's all fully dissolved, that is far too pink, because that stick was just far too big. So all I'll do then, I'll just empty half of that glass of water out, so it's very, very pale water. So we'll do that now. And I'll refill it back up with water. Where's my water gone? There we go. A lot less thing in there, and I'll try to probably fish that out as well. That cube is still really, really big. That was enough to do a litre. Yeah, so that was enough to really do a litre. But if you're really, really stuck and you need to purify some water, yeah, just use that. So that probably wasn't the best example of doing that. That's probably too much. So I'll do that again in a bit and try to see if I can get a bit smaller granule for it. So let's try that one more time. Fill my glass back up with water. And we'll get a smaller piece this time. There we go. We've got a much, oh, dropped it. I've got a much, much smaller piece. You can barely see it in the very, very tip of the blade. Oh, I dropped it. There it goes. Into the water it goes. And some more wood on the fire. Get my stirry stick. Just drop some dirt in it now. Okay, it all adds to the flavour. Yeah, so that's doing its business now. That's still dissolving, so we'll leave that for a few more minutes and let that do its work. But that is one method you could use the potassium actually for. I'm just going to put some water into this thing now, and just so I can get some water on the boil and start making up a quick coffee. Do you know what? Why use that water? I've just got some clean water here. I've just made it clean, haven't I? So, yeah. There we go. So the water is inside there. Put the lid on. Take this thing off. Let's put a plug in the top. Lift my handle up. Turn that the other way around so I can get to it. Put a little bit more wood in the fire. Okay, so we've got the water on the go. I'm going to get some more water now. I'm going to show you the next thing which we can do with our potassium permanganate. So that's purified my water. I'm now sitting in there. I'll be drinking my cup of coffee in that very, very shortly. So the next thing, adding a few more granules. So now you want a light purple, not too deep a purple. Yeah, something like that, just to the very tip of the blade. We put that in there. You can see straight away that the colour is turned to a very, very strong purple. I need a bit more water in that, really. Let's get a bit more water. Okay, so I just released some of the water and put some more inside it. It's still dissolving a little bit in there as well. But this is going to be used for some sort of medical aid. So there's 4 things in which you can use this concentrate of potassium permanganate for. One of it is for really, really bad eczema. So if you've got really, really bad eczema, you could put this into a tub or bath and actually soak the item up two times a day for about 10 to 15 minutes. Soak whatever's got eczema on it inside the bathtub, or so. But you will get a slight purple tinge probably to your body. It will go off, but it will sort of die down after time. It'll stop the irritant, because the potassium will oxidize the cells, which is causing the irritation and the problems inside there. That's the first thing you could use it for. The next thing you could use it for is if you've got blisters. So us guys out in the woods, and put my knife away, walking around and that all the time, sometimes you can get yourself blisters, and it's not very nice, and if you cut them and blister, then they blister up and they start pussing. You could soak a dressing or a sock. So it's quite nice just to, if you've got a spare pair of socks, like we always say, to make the solution and coat it into your socks and put your sock on and wear that for an hour or so, and it lets the water and the potassium to impregnate itself into the blister, and that will really cause the issues to go. And likewise with burns, if you've got burns, so you're dealing with fire all the time, you can put it into a dressing, soak your dressing in it, a wet dressing, and place that on and change that 3 times a day, and that should seize the stop the infections and that sort of forming. Okay, so the last 2 things in which you could use this lovely solution, yeah, and one of these vials of potassium, is you can use it for blisters. Oh no, we said blisters. Foot rot, or trench foot as we call it in the army, or some people call it athlete's foot. There's all different names of it in which some people refer to it. It's basically, oh, that was close. Okay, so for several infections, or severe infections, you need to soak your feet in a dilution of potassium permanganate for 8 hours. Well, you need to dilute it for every 8 hours, depending on how severe the infection is. Sort of on there, so all you really do is just soak your socks in it, put your feet on, and then just keep repeating that as you're going through. The last thing we're going to look at is impetigo. Basically what it is like a slight infection sort of onto the face or other areas which has caused any irritation. All you need to do is gently rub a small bit of dilution of this solution onto the affected skin and remove the parts of the skin. I do apologise that I'm doing this as a voiceover. I forgot to press record on the camera on the microphone as for this actual section. But athlete's foot is the main one which we want to get through. It's basically where the webbing inside the skin of the feet is sort of breaking up and raw, and it kind of has like a smell of it, or urine sort of smell to it as well. But we're going to leave it for now. You can research a little bit more if you buy any of this equipment. Okay, so if you want to have a chance to enter this week's competition to try to win 3 vials of potassium and 3 vials of glycerol, all you need to simply do, again, same as all other competitions, subscribe to, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Put a like on the video and put a comment down below. It can be any comment, yeah, it doesn't matter what it is, because as you see, my comment picks it up, even picks my comments up as well. So like, subscribe, comment to the video, and then you'll be a chance of winning the potassium permanganate and the glycerol, and then you can experiment and play around with this stuff, go out, build your own fires, or test the little solutions of this medical properties into it as well. I'm also, at the end of this video, I'm going to be putting on a little close-up of the potassium permanganate as in working properly, because I'm conscious I missed that on actually the main video itself. So as soon as we finish, we'll just have a little close-up to see you can actually working in quick time. But I'm going to finish this video here now. I'm just going to sit down and enjoy the view, drink my coffee, and then, well, there's nothing else left to do, really, is there? Other than to sit and drink my coffee. So, until then, just remember, it's better to be one with the wilderness than to fight and struggle. Until the next video, I'll see you then. Bye for now. Oh, I always forget how hot it is.